What's up guys? Unfortunately, we haven't been testing smartphones much lately on our channel Tech Brothers, but I know you like them as much as we do. Now we will try to make more videos about new smartphones. I currently have a Realme C51. This is one of the latest budget smartphones from Realme. For the price of around $115, it has some very good features, such as a 6.74-inch 90Hz display, 50 megapixels camera, and a 33-watt fast charging support. Like the latest Realme smartphones, the new Realme C51 has a mini capsule that resembles Dynamic Island on iPhones. In this video, we will thoroughly test the smartphone, including performance, camera, battery, and more. But let's start with unboxing. On the box, we can see the model of the smartphone C51. It also supports NFC. You know, I bought the global version of the smartphone on AliExpress, but there are specifications in Russian on the back of the box. So I have a Russian version of Realme C51. The seller should mention it on the product page. I do not recommend buying any products from this seller because he's lying. Inside the box is an envelope with a SIM needle, silicone protective case, and documentation. Then we have a smartphone with a sticker, again in Russian. You know, I have very bad first impressions of this mobile device, because I was sent the Russian version, but not the global one. But let's continue the review. There is also a power adapter and USB Type-C charging cable in the box. Realme C51 is a budget smartphone, but it has a very nice design. I have a mobile device in black color, but it is also available in a mint green. Although the body of the smartphone is made of plastic, the back panel is divided into two parts, glossy and matte. I like how it looks and feels in the hand. However, you will most likely be using a silicone protective case, so you won't be paying attention to this. As I already said, the smartphone comes with a protective case. It is a simple and a cheap case, but it is good to have it included. By the way, it also covers the protruding cameras. Realme C51 is a lightweight and a thin smartphone. The body thickness is 7.99mm, while the weight is 186 grams. If we talk about the size of the mobile device, it is 176.2 by 76.7mm. Overall, the smartphone is comfortable to hold in one hand. However, you cannot use it with one hand because the screen is quite large. I was very surprised to see a 3.5mm audio jack. I haven't seen it on smartphones in a long time, and I don't think anyone needs it. Let me know in the comments below if you still use a 3.5mm audio jack. There is also a USB Type-C port and speaker at the bottom. We didn't see the fingerprint reader on the back because it is built into the power button on the side. You know, the fingerprint scanner works fast enough. The volume rocker is located next to the power button. The SIM and memory card slot is on the other side of the smartphone. The slot actually holds two SIM cards and a microSD memory card at the same time. That's very good. I guess that's all about design. You know, Realme C51 is a budget smartphone, but it looks very nice. Do you agree? If we talk about the display, it has a diagonal of 6.74 inches. The screen refresh rate of 90 Hz is also a good feature for a budget smartphone. On the other hand, the display resolution is only HD+, 720 by 1600 pixels. I cannot say it is a big problem, because I haven't seen any pixelization while watching videos, playing games, or reading text. However, most of the Realme C51 competitors have Full HD displays. By the way, at first glance, the Realme C51 has a water drop notch on the top of the screen. However, it is actually a mini capsule. The notch gets bigger when the smartphone is charging, so you can see the battery level. Of course, we cannot compare it to Dynamic Island on iPhones because it has only one function, but it is still a cool feature. When it comes to the software, the smartphone runs on Android 13 with Realme UI T Edition user interface. The main problem with the software was the Russian apps, because I have the Russian version of the smartphone. If you also have the Russian version, it is better to uninstall all applications as soon as possible, because they are terrible and are not safe. You should also delete App Market, because it is the Russian app too. It is better to use the Play Store from Google to download new apps. Once you have uninstalled all Russian bloatware and user interface looks nice. By the way, there are no apps from Realme. Expect Realme community. It is almost stock Android. You know, I don't use an Android smartphone very often, because my primary smartphone is an iPhone, but even the settings menu of the Realme C51 looks like stock Android. Okay, let's move on to the hardware. If we go to the About Phone menu, we can see that the processor is Octa-core. It doesn't have a name. The official website also doesn't say the model of the processor. We can only see powerful Octa-core chipset with 12nm process technology. However, we have a very useful app called AIDA64. Here we can see that the Realme C51 smartphone is equipped with Unisoc Tiger T612 processor. My smartphone also has 4GB of RAM and 128GB of built-in storage. As I said before, you can use a dedicated slot for microSD memory card. Realme C51 also supports dynamic RAM. You can go to the settings, About Phone, and tap on RAM. There is a RAM expansion available. When enough storage space is available, you can use part of it to expand your RAM. I want to check if it really increases the performance of the smartphone. First, I will run the AnTuTu benchmark without RAM expansion. The AnTuTu score is 244,864 points. Now I will enable RAM expansion to a maximum of 4GB. In theory, the smartphone now has 8GB of RAM. We run the AnTuTu benchmark again and see 252,876 points. I will run the following benchmarks with RAM expansion. Realme C51 has 422 points in a single core test and 1443 points in multi-core test of GeekBench 6. 3D Mark benchmark recommends running with a wild live test on the Realme C51 smartphone. The overall score is 424. You know, benchmark results of Realme smartphone are not very high, but do not forget that this is a budget mobile device for about $100. Now let's play some games. I have already installed PUBG Mobile, Asphalt 9, Call of Duty Mobile and Genshin Impact on the new Realme smartphone. The graphics in PUBG Mobile is balanced and FPS is high. Although the graphics are not the best, it is quite comfortable to play PUBG Mobile on the Realme C51. There are also no problems with Asphalt 9 and Call of Duty.
Contact with enemy. Tango down. Hunter killer drone on standby.
As for the Genshin Impact, the graphics are also low, because you can even see the pixels, but I didn't notice any breaks or lags. The game runs smoothly. Now let's get to the camera test of Realme C51. At first glance, it may seem that the smartphone has 3 sensors on the rear panel. However, if we look carefully, you will see that one of them is a flashlight. The second sensor is almost useless because it is a 0.08 megapixels black and white camera. The main sensor has a 50 megapixels resolution. It is a pity that the smartphone doesn't have a wide-angle sensor, but the 50 megapixels main sensor promises good pictures. Later, we will check it out. The front camera has a 5 megapixels sensor. The camera up has a night mode, video mode, photo, portrait, and more, such as time-lapse, pro, panorama, slow motion, QR code, and 50 megapixels. In the photo mode, we can turn on the flashlight, HDR mode, beauty, use different filters, and go to the camera settings. The camera settings have storage location, volume button action, shutter sound, and a safe location information. You can also change the photo aspect ratio, image quality, automatically add logo watermarks, and many other options. In the video mode, the general settings are the same, but we can change the video resolution. As you can see, Realme C51 records video in 1080p 30fps maximum resolution. By the way, I didn't find image stabilization in the settings, so I'm interested to see how the smartphone records video. But let's start with photos. By default, the Realme C51 takes photos with a resolution of 12.5 megapixels, 4080 by 3072 pixels. If you want to take pictures with 50 megapixels resolution, you need to go to the More and select 50 megapixels. The photos during the day in sunny weather look very good. By the way, the portrait pictures are also pretty good. You can even take some good selfies on the Realme C51. Portrait mode is also available for the front camera. As for the night photos, to be honest, I don't see much difference between normal photo mode and night mode. However, the pictures are really good in 50 megapixels mode. Now let's look at some videos. As I said before, the Realme C51 has no image stabilization, so the video footage is shaky when walking. However, if you stop and only move the camera, the video is smooth. Overall, the Realme C51 takes good photos and videos for a $100 smartphone. Now let's talk about the next feature of the Realme C51 smartphone, the battery. In fact, the main feature here is the 33 watts fast charging support. The smartphone comes with a 33 watts SUPERVOOC charge. The official website claims it takes only 28 minutes to charge from 0 to 50%. Let's check it out. By the way, I also have a USB power meter. This is the first time I will be using it. We can see a maximum of 28 watts on the power meter. This is not 33 watts, but still very good. So it took 30 minutes to charge Realme C51 from 0 to 52%. And then we can see that the charging speed has decreased to 21 watts. The last 10% of battery was charged at about 10 watts. So a full battery charge from 0 to 100% took 1 hour and 9 minutes. I think it is very fast for a budget smartphone. By the way, the USB power meter shows that the smartphone has received 2545 mAh. However, the manufacturer claims that the battery capacity of Realme C51 is 5000 mAh. Who should we believe? Let's check out the battery life. I will start playing videos on YouTube. We will track how much the battery level drops every hour. In a way, I was surprised by the result of 12 hours and 30 minutes. Realme C51 has a very good battery life, and I think it is because of the HD display. By the way, I forgot to tell you about the speaker, but if I completely forgot about it, you wouldn't have lost anything, because it is the most basic. There is only one speaker at the bottom, however the sound is very loud. You can even turn the volume up to 150%, but the sound quality gets worse.
I don't know if I like it.
What do you mean you don't know if you like it?
Talking about connectivity, Realme C51 supports global network bands. However, you should still confirm the network frequency with your local operator. The smartphone has dual SIM card slot and both supports 4G networks, but not 5G. There is Bluetooth 5.0, dual band Wi-Fi, GPS, and even NFC support. I believe that NFC should be in every modern smartphone, just like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, because it is a very useful feature. I always use my smartphone for contactless payment. If a smartphone doesn't have NFC, I cannot use it. So it's time to summarize. Let me start with what I don't like about Realme C51. The biggest annoyance for me was the Russian version of the smartphone, and there are many pre-installed Russian apps, and I believe they are unsafe. The good news is that they can be deleted. It also confuses me that the Realme C51 smartphone only has an HD screen. I cannot say it is a big problem, because the screen is good, but the most competitors have Full HD displays. As I said before, you will not find the processor model on the official website or anywhere on the box. It looks like the manufacturer is trying to hide it. However, we know that Realme C51 is powered by Unisoc Octa-core T612. It is an entry-level chipset, so the smartphone has quite low benchmark results. The last complaint about Realme C51 from me is a single camera. I think the second camera on the rear panel is useless. I wish there was a wide-angle camera on this smartphone. If we talk about the pros of the Realme C51 smartphone, there are many more than cons. First, I like the design. The rear panel is made of glossy and matte plastic. In my opinion, it looks very nice. The new Realme smartphone also has a 3.5mm audio jack and fingerprint reader on the side face. The highlight of the latest Realme smartphones is a mini capsule. Of course, it is not the same as Dynamic Island on iPhone, but it is still a nice feature. Although the Realme C51 features an HD resolution display, it has a 90Hz refresh rate. You can really feel it when you are scrolling menus or surfing social media. And by the way, the smartphone runs on the latest Android 13 operating system with Realme UI T Edition user interface. When you remove all the Russian apps, the interface is very clean and nice. It is close to the stock Android. I mentioned that the smartphone has low benchmark scores, but it doesn't have any problems with gaming. You can play any games on the Realme C51, such as PUBG Mobile, Call of Duty, Genshin Impact, and others. The 50MP camera takes good photos and videos both day and night. I think they are great for a $100 smartphone. The battery is another big advantage of the Realme C51. I was surprised by both the battery life and charging speed. I was also glad to see a triple slot for dual SIM and microSD memory cards here. NFC support is not only useful, but a must-have feature for me. The last big advantage of the Realme C51 smartphone is the price. I bought it for only $103, but now it is a bit more expensive, about $118. I think the smartphone is very decent for its price. Thank you for watching this video. See you soon!